Hey, what's going on there? This is Wayne with Tri County Locksmith Service, and we're going to be doing some actual real testing on your favorite lubricants today. Now, this is more specifically generated, and the testing is more specifically done specifically for locks, but there's a whole lot of confusion and disagreements out there about what is really actually good for your locks and what is actually a really good lubrication. And so what I want to do is go ahead and put these lubrications to the test, because a lot of them have a few of the same ingredients, just branded differently. So today we're going to strip away all the branding, all the marketing, all the stuff that goes behind them, and we're actually going to see what the different lubricants actually do and use. This is actually going to kind of be my selection of favorite to least favorite lubricants before the testing. So just keep in mind that we'll find out the answers for sure, but just based off of what I've heard and what I've seen in the industry and in the field, this is kind of how I have it laid out in my head right now. I really like the 100% dry Teflon right here. It's basically mixed with rubbing alcohol, and then it actually dries 100% dry. Tri-Flo has always been fairly good to me. This stuff here, it's got high tolerances for heat and cold, and it basically has some it says with PTFE spray as well. So this is kind of a penetrates and protects, formulated with PTFE, okay? And then you'll notice right here we actually have a PTFE spray. So we'll go ahead and check this stuff out too. This is claiming that it's a dry lubrication as well. Says it's ideal for blades, bits, door, windows, side rollers, power tools, hinges, equipment. Doesn't really say that it's good for locks, but it says safe for use on wood, paper, fabric, leather, metal, and most plastics. Except for clear polycarbonate. Temperature range is going to be from -50 degrees to 500 degrees. That's going to be important because that's one of the things that's going to break stuff down. And we're actually going to really get in there and really test this stuff. Let's see if this has a temperature rating on it or not. Let's see. Not really. So I don't see one on there right away. There may be one. You can read into it later if you want. This is one of the other things that I found and used a couple different times on different things. This is multi-use Teflon, lubrication with Teflon. So this says it's for door hinges, locks, sliding glass doors, metal windows, threaded parts, hand tools, latches, power equipment, and more. This one says it's good from -20 degrees up to 300 plus degrees. So we're definitely going to be testing that out. Here's the big dirty word in the lock industry is WD-40. It does loosen things up, and it does help you clean and protect some stuff. It's better than nothing, but it's one of those things that some people feel really strongly against and some people feel really strongly for. So we'll just go ahead and see what it does inside the lock there. So this stops squeaks, cleans, protects, loosens, rust parts, free sticky mechanisms, drives out moisture, lubricates hinges, wheels, rollers, chains, gears, cleans grease, penetrates, displaces moisture. It's not giving me a temperature range rating on that one. And then we've got a silicone spray here. Okay, so our silicone spray, this says it's the same stuff. Use slippery action clear wet film, non-stick coating, repels moisture, low odor, safe on painted surfaces, great for large surface areas, rubber, wood, plastic, metal, snow shovels, garden doors, snow blowers, wheelbarrows. So this one doesn't really say it's for locks either, and I'm just briefly reading over this to see if there's a temperature rating, and I'm not seeing one at this very moment. So we'll go ahead and check that stuff out too. Here's a lithium grease. This stuff is kind of neat because it does thicken up as a grease, but it'll go into the small spaces as an aerosol. It'll kind of dry and not really dry to the touch, but it'll coagulate and thicken up. This one says it is good for temperature rating from 0 degrees Fahrenheit up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Provides heavy-duty lubrication and corrosion protecting. that won't melt, freeze, or ruin or run in any weather. Hinges, gears, sprockets, doors, excellent for overhead track doors, lubricating before placing things in storage, cables, latches. It doesn't exactly say locks on here, but that's okay too. And then the good old graphite. Graphite is mixed opinions. This is why I don't like to use it, because I keep it in this baggie, and look at how dirty this baggie is. It just covers everything, and when you use it and work with it all the time, it gets on your hands, it gets in your workplace, you just drag it around, it follows you around like mud, and it just makes a mess of your work area, and everything that you come in contact with every single day. You're basically covered in this stuff if you use it. So it does work good, but I just don't like the mess that it makes all the time, continuously. The other thing is, if you mix this with any of these, you're going to pretty much create concrete. So if somebody's already used graphite and you don't flush it out with a solvent before you use one of these, you're pretty much going to seize your lock up after a particular point in time. So this is the playing field here. We're going to heat these locks up to about 450, 500 degrees right in there. They're actually cooking up in the oven right now. I've coated all the locks. I've marked and labeled each one of them. They're all 6-pin US lock cylinders with working keys, all brand new. They've been washed out with solvent, so there's no factory lubricant in them. And the biggest things that are going to deteriorate a lock lubricant is heat, moisture, and dirt, and the cold. So we're going to test all of those things. We've got them baking in the oven now to simulate extreme heat. We're going to dunk them as soon as they come out of the oven. We're going to dunk them in some snow and get some water and some, you know, debris and stuff mixed in there. Then we're going to stick them in a vacuum and in the hose of the vacuum, and I'm going to vacuum up a bunch of dirt and grit and grime to simulate wind that's blowing stuff around. We're trying to generate years of wear and tear and harsh conditions in a matter of a couple hours. So that's going to generate that dirt and grit, and then we're going to go ahead and put them in the freezer. We're going to see if they work in the freezer, which ones seize up, which ones you know, operate best. And then when we're all said and done, I'm going to take each lock apart, and we're actually going to see what's inside of there and see what happened, see which lubricants worked well, see which ones broke down, see which ones attracted the most dirt and grit, and see where we're at with this. So stay with me and enjoy. Well, it's pretty cool to be able to do this kind of stuff and actually you know, do these kind of experiments and see exactly what goes on in here and what does what when it's actually applied in real life. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a test. A good test for this is, let's see here, we're going to be, when I pull this key out, you'll see how the pins move, okay? Them moving smoothly like that and not getting stuck in any one position is exactly what we want to see. So the dry Teflon right here is a perfect example of what we want to see. We want to see that move, and everything moves nice and easy in there. We also are looking for burning. That means that's a sign of the lubricant deteriorating or breaking down. Obviously there's not very much of that here, if not any at all. So this is a perfect prime example of why I use this lubricant and why it works so well. It's 100% dry and it doesn't leave any film behind. So we can go ahead and take a look at the at this, and you'll see and notice that there's no burning, there's no debris inside, there's no, everything's nice and clean in there. That's what we want to see. Even through the water and all the other testing and everything else, it still managed to survive and do that well. And I have the springs and everything over here that we can take a look at as well. So we can take a look at these springs. Notice the pins aren't very dirty, cylinder's not burnt, nothing crazy's going on there, and that is the 100% dry. The next one, we'll just go ahead and get onto it, is the Tri-Flo here. Now you can start to see all the debris and things that are in there, and then the stuff that's sticking to it because it's that oily lubricant. And this was one of my favorites, the Tri-Flo. So, you know, it just goes to show that you never know until you really put it in the field and see what it does. You also notice some burning going on here. That's the material starting to break down again. And then look inside. Oh my goodness. Who thought Tri-Flo would have that much junk and gunk sticking in there. Once again, you're just never going to know until we put it to the test. And then we go ahead and pull this out and see how they stick. They should not do that. They should all fall right back down into place. And this is why we don't put oil-based lubricants into a lock. This is exactly the prime example. All that stuff builds up, and see how it doesn't fall back down. Now I know inside there the springs force it down, but if you ever had a spring collapse or get over crushed or something like that, you know, this is going to be the result, and it's going to be a lock that fails. So Tri-Flo is not one of my better suggestions. It's a good lubricant for other things, but for locks I would not say so. Let's see here. Now we got our PTFE spray right here. We can notice a little bit of gunk sticking on there, and it started to darken a little bit, but not much. Now again, those just pop right in and out, see? Right in and out. And move very smoothly. So, you know, for a lubricant right here, this is now a very, very good lubricant. In my opinion, there is a little bit of debris that's stuck on there, but nothing too crazy. It doesn't look as bad as the other ones. Let's go ahead and check out the pins there, and the cylinder, and then we'll check out the cylinder right here. Not very much gunk stuck in there. Pretty clean, to be honest, really. So PTFE spray does pretty darn good. You know, this was kind of disappointing. I really like this this lubricant, and from what the packaging says, it's supposed to be a semi-dry formula, but it did seem to collect quite a bit of gunk on here. And if we move that up, you can see how those pins stick again. We don't want to see that. They should all drop back down in there, and they don't. So let's insert that key again, and again, they're not falling back down. So that is not a good sign. I am not going to be using this lubricant for locks anymore, simply because of that right there. Take a look inside the cylinder. Had a little bit of burning, a little bit of browning on this one, but nothing too major, nothing too bad. So, you know, maybe bicycle chains, stuff like that, might be something good for that. And here's our WD-40. You can notice significant charring, so it does start to break down pretty good with the heat, seems to be what did that. And then once again the gunk inside. So WD-40, kind of the dirty word here. It's not the worst, but it's not very good either. Go ahead and pick this up. Try this. So we are still getting some sticking. They should all fall down. They are not doing so. Once again, those pins sticking up there. So not the worst, but far from the best as well. Let's get a little picture of the close-up of the pins right here. So that's the pins and the cylinder with the WD-40. Moving right along, we've got our silicone spray, and with our silicone spray, let's see what we got here. We have some dirt and debris sticking in there, but not too bad. And then most of the pins fell back down into place here. Most of them did. So this one isn't too bad either, but you can still see you'd rather not have that kind of gunky stuff built up in there. That would definitely not be ideal, as opposed to the dry formulas that we've used. So let's set that back down. Take a look inside the cylinder. See, there is some goop in there, but not too bad either. Now we got our white lithium grease. Go ahead and I thought this one might be the worst one of them all. You can see once again we're sticking. So it is one of the heaviest compounds out of all of them. So you're definitely going to have that stuff sticking in there like that. And there's inside of here. So you can see we had plenty of gunky buildup in there. But it didn't seem to burn or break down too bad. So it did handle the heat very well. If this is something that, you know, maybe you need to lubricate something that's going to continuously be cleaned and then re-lubricated, this could be a good idea, but not, I mean, it's not the best here. So let's take a look at these pins and definitely see that there's some stuff sticking on them here. And that's going to be a white lithium grease. And then we have our good old graphite. I hate to say it, but man, this graphite did awesome. Everything's moving nice and smooth in there. You know, no gunky buildup. Did pretty much the same thing the Teflon did. So, you know, kudos to graphite. I just hate working with it because it makes a mess out of everything. It's just so darn hard to keep clean with that when you're working with it. And then again, the cylinder right here, looking very, very well as well. Nice and clean, nothing breaking down. Even though it's black graphite going in there, that still managed to be one of the cleanest ones of them all in terms of, you know, what the cylinder looks like afterwards. So after doing this testing, I'm going to put these in my order. We're going to use that as number 1. We're going to use that as number 2. Use this as number 3. Can use this as number 4. What else did we have here? Tri-Flo. This will be the order in how I would rank these. From beginning to end, favorite to least favorite. In terms of everything working properly here. So we got our 100% dry Teflon, we got our graphite, we got PTFE spray, we got silicone spray, Tri-Flo, multi-purpose Teflon, semi-dry, WD, and then the white lithium grease. So that was fun. I hope everybody learned something, and now the truth is out there and you actually see what it looks like. Remember, the worst things for locks is heat, water, and dirt. And any of the lubricants that have oil-based stuff in them, they're going to attract that kind of stuff. And they're going to break down in the heat. The only thing they're going to do is provide some resistance to moisture, but it's kind of not worth it in the long run. So thanks for watching. Check out the website below. Please subscribe, and stay tuned in case we do some more testing on other products. Hey guys, it's the end of the video. You know, help me out and help me help you out. Right below the description box right here is a red subscribe button. Subscribe to me, and then you're going to get the latest and greatest information that I put out. Sometimes it applies to you, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's just going to at least let you know that we're putting out new and current information. And then right over here is a thumbs up button. Give me a thumbs up. Help this video rank higher in the searches for the search terms that you're using, and let other people be able to see this. You know, that's the best way you can help. Interact. Leave a comment. I will get back with you if I can and try and help you answer your questions. But the more you interact and post this to Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and spread this through the social media, the more that allows me to be able to help do more videos. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And subscribe, share, and like. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.